Do not attempt to adjust your listening device. Genesis Owusu has assumed control. Please stand by as he releases his latest single called Pirate Radio. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and welcome to the program. Before we get underway and talking about Genesis Owusu's return, we do have to do the Game Rage No Curse Minute, where we kill the first 60 seconds of the program with no cursing or swearing whatsoever in order to play nice with the YouTube algorithm. I do have to add a big thank you to all of you that have been liking, viewing, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. It is much appreciated. And for those of you that are listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, RSS, we really appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for all the support. Please continue to do so. Thank you. So much to say and so little time. Let's get to the grand return of multi-time ARIA award-winning artist Genesis Owusu and his latest single, Pirate Radio. This feels like a new phase, a new arc for this Australian artist. I'm very excited to see what he has to offer. This is coming after Smiling with No Teeth, his debut album, and of course the very awesome Struggler album, which made the illusion, or rather the comparisons of humanity to cockroaches and their resiliency to survive in great adversity, doomsday scenarios, to have hope in a hopeless time. I really enjoyed that album. It showcased how cerebral and how well endowed in literature Genesis Owusu is. I'm sure he has plenty of stuff to say and plenty of stuff to offer with his next album, or what we can only suspect is his next album. I can't wait to listen to this track. And in more recent news, he had some type of contest where 3 random people were able to check out his new music in person and also meet Genesis Owusu. And it looks like he's been getting in touch with his roots. As some of you may know, Genesis Owusu is a Ghana-born, Australian-raised artist. So it seems like he's gone back to Ghana to get in touch with family and his roots and stuff. And it's very cool to see, and I have a feeling that it'll play a factor into his third album, or what we suspect to be his third album. I'm very excited to see that. It also looks like he is dabbling with a new visual aesthetic, especially with the cover art for this single that reminds me, and I don't know, I guess what I see is like something comparable to what Boy Soda has been doing with like the Star, but maybe I might be reading into that too much, and it's just coincidental more than anything. But it's so good to hear back from this artist. It's one I'm always looking forward to. So without further ado, and to stop me from yapping, let's go ahead and get to the latest track from Genesis Owusu, which is once again called Pirate Radio. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, be it Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, whatever. Pull it up, Pirate Radio, Genesis Owusu. We're going in. All right, that was Pirate Radio from Genesis Owusu. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. I know I have a few thoughts of my own. First off, that was a fucking declarative statement and a half from Genesis Owusu. Simply put, that is him at his best. As far as the lyrics go, I mean, there was plenty of fucking bars to be had. There was one about Elon Musk that was really funny. It was in verse 2. Elon's a fucking weirdo who gave these incels moolah. Spit out your threats and slurs, kid. I'll show you something cooler. I'll show you something nasty. Inward and deep reflection. These police closer to a graveyard than a fucking pension. And there was something about a two-paid totalitarians. Where was it? Okay, here we go. Dog Nazi flute's been voided. You bite my flesh in protest. You know my blood's anointed. Deep pools of mass hysteria. Front flips, mental contusions. Two paid totalitarians. I call them fucking losers. Oh man, this is fucking great. You know, I have a theory, and I just need you to bear with me here, but I have a theory that this possibly ties into the struggler. And what I think it is for me is the struggler was an album about surviving in a hostile environment, which is something that we're currently experiencing. And now we're evolving into a fully realized or fully developed person that has looked within themselves and their own weaknesses to come out a better person to withstand such a cruel and hostile world and to thrive within it and possibly change things for the better for everybody. And I think possibly within the social media post with Genesis Owusu wearing a wearing medieval armor, I have to imagine that there's allusions to being combat ready or fully realized, like to have things just bounce off you, especially when you're wearing metallic armor. uh I don't know, I feel like there's something there talking about somebody becoming fully realized to combat or withstand the things that are going on in this world. And getting more specific, if we're talking about developing thick skin for a hostile world, I mean, within the struggler itself, we're talking about cockroaches. And, one of the features of a cockroach is how they have a tough exoskeleton. And armor is like a tough exoskeleton for humans. So I don't know if that's a stretch to make that assumption or to draw those conclusions, but those are the ideas that come to mind for me to try to tie in the visuals with the music for this new phase. And talking about tying everything in, when we're talking about the cover art for this particular single, Pirate Radio, I can't help but make the comparisons to Ghana with the star in the middle of the flag, and of course the green and yellow green, yellow, red colors that are featured on it. Although Genesis Wusu only includes red and green for the cover, I have to imagine that's not coincidental. I think everything ultimately has a meaning that hasn't ultimately been revealed by Genesis Owusu himself, but these are some of the things that I'm speculating about for the future. And of course, we haven't even touched the him revisiting his roots. I imagine that'll be incorporated into the lyrics. I'm sure it's going to be one of the things that he addresses within the album itself that we are only speculating exists. But this is just very exciting stuff from Genesis Owusu, and I can't wait to hear what other songs he's going to be releasing for this upcoming album. And I don't have anything else to add, but thank you to everybody that tuned in and listened to my own delirium about Genesis Owusu. Hopefully you at least found it entertaining in some way, but I don't have anything else to add. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode, and we'll have plenty to add on to our Genesis Owusu saga, our personal experience with the music. But thanks again for tuning in. I'll catch y'all next time.